guys, Michelle Fixit here. Today is June 21st, 2023. This is supposed to be the day that I'm supposed to be starting my publishing of things because I started recording on May 21st. But those videos are just really not that good. So I might give it a couple day delay and try to peruse some of the videos and then do the delay in publication and all that good stuff. So that we can kind of get that ball rolling. And I know it's kind of frustrating when you guys are looking at the steering wheel. So as soon as I get to this stop sign, which will happen in just a moment, well, not stop sign, but a stoplight, I'm going to alter you guys. I'll put you right here. And maybe that'll work. Hi. If you have issues, I blame it on Baltimore City roads because I have to go to Georgetown and my cord does actually fully extend all the way up there because I have the DeWalt cords and I'm pretty sure that you guys are charging. I don't see a little bloop bloop. It's ironic because I'm the fixer person and my vehicles are in random needs fixing stages of their existence. It's just what happens. And now we have a green light. So, today's kind of been a really laid back day at Patterson. I don't know. I stayed up really late. It's one of my things that I do. And then everyone's noses were starting to get a little stuffy and kittens were getting grumpy. So I had Izzy take a long soaking bath and stuff so that she would get all that yuckiness out of her nose. And then she also did have boiled peanuts and stuff. So we kind of crossed off all of our stuff. But I think that we're actively trying to fight something because since we're always together, hello, officer. Since we're always together, if I start becoming symptomatic of something and I recognize it, then I start trying to troubleshoot them, especially based off of are they cranky? Are they tired? Do they seem like they have something going on? And that's a really good way for me to just try to mitigate it as a grown-up instead of them being super duper reactive and stuff like that. So anyways, that's part of our day. So I let them sleep in because I can. One, it's summer, so all the other kittens are out of school right now. Two, my kittens are special and everyone's special. Everyone's a little snowflake. I got the little thing. I've heard it way too much. But literally Charlie Cat, Baby Hulk, is a special cat. Medical complexities and all the rest of that stuff. And then Izzy's a super special cat in her own right because she's a little fiery unicorn and she's awesome and amazing and I'm having to make sure that I don't autopilot the wrong way. So today has basically been letting them sleep in until they decided to get up. And even though I changed Charlie Cat in the middle of the night, which is what I do because he does most of his peeing at night, he still managed to pee through his clothes. And so given that life is what it is right now, I am on my way to Georgetown to pick up laundry because currently all of our laundry services are at Georgetown and I need to get some more clothes for him. And so he got to have a bath and play in the water, and then I realized that his urination and stuff like that was a little bit more complicated than I thought, so I'm going to have to refer that new knowledge to the nephrologist because she brought some stuff to my attention yesterday with our appointment. I still have the oil and the filter sitting in the hallway as a visual reminder for the Trailblazer because she needs her oil changed. So whenever Dingo's cousin has availability, then he can come over at his leisure and do the oil because it's not an emergent thing. It's just a needs to be done thing. And he's super nice and I don't want to add to his stress even though there is a monetary exchange. And I'm just trying to work on getting the cat room squared up so that way it can turn back into my ironing and I don't know, it's this ironing office random hodgepodge location and I have had someone crash in it a couple times and outside of my daddy cat because my daddy cat doesn't care and he'll watch stuff because that's as far as my areas of Patterson, that is the only room in the whole entire house that has a TV because I don't do a lot of TV. I really don't. When I'm in Manassas, there's a TV downstairs, but given projects and stuff, it's been disconnected. And I think Husband Cat with his update on his project that I have to do another video on I think he said he put everything back together again, but I'm just not a TV person. The only time I watch TV is I will listen to TV when I'm doing taxes, most specifically Bones, because I've watched it so much. Bones, The Good Doctor. There's a there's a trend in what I like to watch. And so because both of those are on, like, I don't know, Netflix or Amazon Prime or something, I will watch those. Not The Good Doctor while I'm doing taxes, because that's still new enough where, like, I just don't, I get distracted by it and then I want to watch it. What's that other one? Atypical. I think that was like overdone and underdone at the same time. I can kind of see it, but then I also understand that I have a different perspective than most. And then Big Bang becomes addictive, and I can't watch it because I will get consumed by the binginess. You guys call it the binge watching stuff. I will do that. So I am very, very restrictive with my interests based off of what I know about my personality type and the fact that I can go all or nothing. And it's a matter of, is it in my best interest to get completely consumed by Big Bang Theory? No. And right now I'm distracted because people, for some reason, even though there's a long line of cars, like the first car, the starter car, was like super delayed. And then we have it where now it's like it was just a whole stream of people, and we have a squeegee guy that's not a squeegee guy. I'm very confused by him. So he has the fluid, but he doesn't have the squeegee stick. He just has like a cloth in his hand. I'm currently on, I'm not going to tell you where I am because he's not disturbing anyone, and so I'm not going to identify where I'm at. If he was being a grump or being a butt, then I would definitely identify where I'm at. But Baltimore City has this new thing where, like, I don't know, they're trying to pay the squeegee people, but then not pay the squeegee people, but then, like, I don't know. I tried for a minute. I literally set a timer and gave myself like 15-20 minutes of my time and attention, because I have been harassed by squeegee people, and then I've had very respectful squeegee people. It depends on the squeegee person. And some of them are, you know, guys, some of them are boys, some of them are men. I don't know their situations. I know enough about Baltimore City to know that you can make some assessments on a person based off of the biases that you have as personal knowledge of your time in this city, but not all the time are those assessments correct. And I made assessments on someone yesterday. I profiled a white lady that was in the neighborhood, also known as the Hood, and I made sure that I sent a text message to a person. I'm like, hey, my red flag meter, because of this type of car and the amount of money that this vehicle is worth, and because of the fact that she has monies, but she's not publicizing that she has monies, that means that she gets dirty monies. And I don't mean street money. I mean, like, mess people up and get money off of them and exploit their situations kind of money. And, like, my red flag meter was just going off because she seemed way too skittish with what she was doing. And if she was out there doing something good, she'd be comfy-ish. Because I've been that white woman in a predominantly colorful neighborhood trying to figure out stuff. But I didn't show up in a fancy, expensive vehicle. I showed up in a truck. And I showed up in dresses because that's what I do. That's who I am. But I wasn't there being all skittish. I made sure that I had someone there with me because I didn't know anything about the environment, and it was like an anthropological study, and I wanted to assimilate and acclimate to the best of my abilities without creating any type of harm. So I made sure that I had someone that knew the area, that would preface any little things and communication issues that I would have. It was a very strategic plan that I had because I'm not stupid. I understand that I look like I'm an easy target for someone that wants to manipulate people. And I've been an easy target for a lot of people. And so I've learned from those lessons. And this woman was not doing that. Which means that this could be a gentrification of my neighborhood, which I knew was going to happen at some point. I didn't know it when I bought the house. It was very lucky or observant or whatever. I saw progress coming. I talked about it like a crazy person when I first bought the house. I'm not going to specifically name the project because I don't want everyone to know, but or I don't want to identify the neighborhood and stuff. But there's a lot of really awesome people that are out there, and I want to make sure that even though they are not aware of what's going on, because I know the exploitations, because it is part of my my business stuff, and to make sure that they are not falling victim to that, because I've already read about a lot of history in this city, and a lot of victimization that was absolutely on purpose, with redlining and the black butterfly and the white L and all that kind of stuff. And I think some people are getting a little bit better at it, but I think some people are getting a lot more sneaky. And so as people warm up to me and they let me know about how their systems work in this environment, dirty money is not always dirty money. Dirty money can be cleaned up and help the community. And then I was lucky enough to see a couple different documentaries about some very smart street money people that like got to the top and did stuff that they should have been doing. But then like for some reason they became egotistical, and then they started messing up the same people that they were trying to protect, but then they like started coming back down again. And then when like they were being pursued, the community protected them, because the community knew that even though, you know, the means for the money wasn't ideal, that they were a resource to the community, because instead of waiting for a federal to a state to a trickle down, and the stuff that I don't really know all about because I try to stay away from it because it would be too consuming, because I get very grumpy about manipulation and stuff like that. All right, you guys don't need to calm down. He made a boo-boo, and his boo-boo made boo-boos for like 3 other people, and so now we're all grumped up, and now our day's been ruined. Everyone gets so mad up here. Like, open up your eyes. He's clearly in a truck trying to work. He's doing the grind thing, and just for posterity's sake, Mr. Red Charger, just GT Charger, excuse me, sir, just pulled out in front of me. And I had to like I had to slow down a little bit. Did you guys get knocked over? No. My life is more impacted by these ridiculous potholes than it was by that guy, because I break down, I slow down. And I was aware enough that I saw his driving style before he even came at me. And look, he's still driving like a dumb. He's not using turn signals, he's going all over the place. And if I didn't have to stretch all the way out to like get you guys, then I would like maybe get his text, but maybe not, because maybe he's got something going on. I don't know. I can't make assessments about everyone all the time. I can make assessments to keep myself out of trouble sometimes, and I can strategically make sure that I have certain people in my life to help me, because I want to help people and people help me. It's a two-way street. And I get very grumpy when I try to help people, and then they want to like do stupid stuff, or they want to make my life more difficult, because like if I'm trying to make your life less difficult, don't try to make my life more difficult, because that completely defeats the purpose. It occupies my time way too much, and it's not fair to me, because I'm out here trying to be nice and help people. And then like this homeless thing that you guys have and the Be More breaks my heart. It's really confusing. It's kind of one of the reasons why I hope this YouTube or filming, I need to start just saying filming, because I found out that like that Twitch thing has like, I don't know. I made a Twitch. I think I made a Twitch. I'm not sure. I did the Linktree thing. I have that app, and there's one where it's free, but then there's one where it's not free and it like charges money. And again, limiting myself, because I have way more important things to do than try to figure this out. But in the grand scale of things, if this takes off, then like, yeah, it would be worth my time. But then like everyone says you have to be like super duper big in order to make monies off of this stuff. But like considering the amount of monies that I'm making right now, any monies is going to be better than no monies. But like back to the homeless stuff, I just don't get it. I don't understand it. And if I didn't have all these distractions, there's a reason why people are homeless. And then I found out about the shelter things, because like as people want to tell me about stuff, I get more information about like the shelters are scary and dangerous, and you have to be in by a certain time, then they kick you out at another time. And if you fall asleep during their church service, even though that's like the only place that you've been able to like rest, then you're like purposely keeping people awake. And so then you're making it where they're even further traumatized, because like how dare they fall asleep during church? And they could be like the most religious person out there, but because they're so exhausted because they haven't had sleep in 4 days, you're booting them out. There's a lot of stuff that's just not nice. And then like Husband Cat does the food drive. It was like once per holiday thing, and then it became a once per month thing. And so I see where the food comes from, and then I see the trickle down of where the food goes, and then I understand that like, you know, the difference between writing a check and then actually donating the money, or donating. Oh man, you're gonna like squish me in here. Thank you. Sorry. Oops, I lost you guys. See, Baltimore City roads. All right, if you guys get dropped again, well, actually, if you guys get dropped again, I'll have to pop you back up again. And you're going to get demoted to the steering wheel column again, because I have to see my GPS. So I can't just, like, let you guys sit there. But anyways, I I see where the food comes from, and then I see where the food goes, and it gets distributed. And at one point, Miss Mary wanted me to go and procure some food for her, and I was very uncomfortable doing it because I didn't feel like, it was mixed. It was like I didn't feel like I should be there because I didn't need the food, but I was trying to procure it for her. But then I felt like people would judge me for being in there. Like, there was a lot of anxiety in the situation, and I didn't have to worry about where my food was coming from because I'm fortunate enough to be able to buy my food with real money. And now I understand, like, the food stamps money thing versus the real money thing. And like, for some reason there's a disconnect and people get grumpy when they have to use cash. They keep saying cash. I'm gonna adjust you guys because you're messing up my GPS. Or they say, like, I had to spend cash for food, and that's supposed to be more of an emphasis than using the stampy stuff. So like, I get pieces of it, and then I kind of try to compile it, and it's basically like I'm not trying to make people more comfortable so I can learn more about their stuff, but I'm letting them do it at their leisure and at their comfort level, because I understand. Oh, you guys almost went somewhere. Because I understand that people are bad, and that not everyone is like me. And so even though, try to tuck you guys in there with the selfie stick. So even though I'm out here doing nothing but just trying to take care of my kittens and some houses and some vehicles and like doing my stuff, I understand that there's bad people. I'm not stupid. I've been messed up by the bad people. And it seems like once I start telling just a teeny tiny bit of my story, which my daddy cat was like, you need to tell people your story. Like, from day one when the story started happening, and I was like all living my best Aspie cat life, and like all my boxes, because I had 2 boxes at that time. I had a center box and I had a house. I had a nice house that I liked, and I was very fortunate, and I thought that I like won the lottery with a person, and I thought that I was just living my dream, and like I was already talking. I hadn't even filled up one of the boxes, but I was getting really better at it, and I was getting a lot better with it, and I was fast-tracked to having another wait list. Like, that's the thing, is when I do something, like, I do it very well. So I was like, you know what, my goal is going to be like a daycare every year until I get bored. And so I made systems, I made training, I did all this stuff. I was about to start like making little videos and stuff. And then I realized I sat there for like a couple days at the office, or in the office, because the office had a lobby and stuff. And I was like, I'm not even needed here. Like, I've created such a great system of accountability and checking and stuff like that, that like, there's no reason for me to be here. I'm bored. Like, I'm just watching people, and I'm watching them do the system, and everything's great. I trust my team. And so then I was like, F it. I'm going to go back to school. And so I started school. And then, I don't know, I just had this all-consuming feeling that, like, if I stayed in school, that something bad was about to happen. So then, even though I wanted to go and stay in school and I could afford it, and I was able to, like, finally go to my daughter's horseback riding classes, and she was doing violin and this and that. Nope, not supposed to turn that way. And all these things, like, I got out of those classes because I didn't want to have tarnishment on my record with my academic stuff, because I just had a feeling. And then boom, life blew up. It was great. And I mean that sarcastically. It's absolutely not great. But anyways, there's manipulation on people's parts. And Daddy Cat Dog, whenever I first started that, was like, you need to just tell people. You need to sit down and talk to people and tell them exactly what's going on. Be honest. And like, my attorney was like, no, I didn't even have an attorney at the beginning. But all the other people were like, nope, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet. And so it's like, scaredy cats will tell you to stay scared, and fiery lions, let's say that, because my dad's like a lion. Fiery lions tell you to just be open and honest and everything, and that you'll be okay. But like, they can be fiery all the time without it being scary. And if you're in it and then it's scary, then you become a scaredy cat. And then you listen to the scaredy cats, because you guys have scaredy cat stuff in common. But scaredy cats are more likely to get hurt sometimes. Sometimes the lions are more likely to get hurt. Just depends on if there's a bigger, scarier lion. And I didn't know what to do. I was fighting and doing what I thought was best. And gradually, as time went on and everything happened, it just became more and more hard to fight. And then once I heard stuff with this very specific thing, and like every time I have to do floors, and I abbreviate it, it's like this SEER. because polyurethane is a very searing thing, and its nickname is shorter, but also could mean something else. And maybe that's one of my words that like I just can't stand, because it's searing. And so anyways, I would tell some people once I gained a little bit of confidence in that person, I felt like they gained confidence in me, and there was this mutual exchange of I'll help you with the paperwork or the stuff that you just don't know about, and you'll help me with the street stuff or the stuff that I just don't see, where people are trying to mess me up because they think I'm just a dumb girl. And so camaraderie was born. Her umbrella is upside down, it's cute. And that's just kind of how it's blossomed. And recently I found out that even when they thought that I was going cuckoo crazy because I had something going on in my life that was trying to challenge my sanity, they stayed. And I'm upset because in the moments of my life blowing up, little buggy, I'm trying to let you out. You're a confused buggy, whatever. In the moments of my life blowing up, I thought I had that. But then as soon as things started getting a little tough, everybody ran away, because it turned out that like they were pretending to be little lions and they were actually little scaredy cats. But then they got the mob mentality, and I'm pretty sure, and I hope, that they at least think about me and wonder if they made the right decision and the wrong decision. And maybe as these videos come about, they'll start filling in some details, because I keep getting details that just don't add up on a lot of things. And I think that there was a big not nice going on. I know there was a big not nice going on with me. The whole reason I even got dragged into it has to do with one very, very specific person. And I don't think that they realized, you know what? No, I don't think that he realized that everything that he was doing would be documented. And I don't think that he realized that when they tried to use proof against me for the stuff that he said, and he initiated the whole thing. And I'm not talking about the one that started the whole fire with the stuff on the floor. I'm not talking about that. The abbreviation for the stuff on the floor, in case you can't keep up with it. I'm talking about the guy that decided to open up his mouth when he had tons of proof. And the lady that thought that she was doing good, and let's just put a blue out there, she was a very blue person, and somehow she strategically made it onto the radio one day, and I just got a frill of anger because the blue lady, let's call her the blue lady ate into that. And so I think that like if you guys had access to some of that stuff, and maybe one day I'll put some of that out there. Maybe just right now I'll just kind of make it confusing. Basically, if you decide to go out there and say something about something, just like if if two people catch a charge, like Baltimore City stuff right here. If two people catch a charge doing the same stuff, and then one of them walks, and then one of them's in the box with the bars, you guys know where your brains go, right? And you know that all that stuff is like, it's in records. It's just a matter of getting the records. Well, see, this guy that started this stuff, I don't think he realized, I should have turned there. It's making me turn up here, but that's another way I can go to Georgetown. I don't think he realized that all that stuff was going to be documented. And then eventually, since they were planning on using it against me, that I would catch it. I think some of the people that caught the mob mentality were quick enough to realize in their interviews that maybe, just maybe, these interviews would be heard by me, and then I'd be able to like say, no, this is wrong, or this was completely manipulated out of character. But I got to figure out a lot about the legal system as being like an unwilling and unwanted and completely wrongly accused person. And I used to laugh about that and be like, oh no, not literally laugh, but like when somebody say, oh, I'm innocent, it's still innocent until proven guilty, and like their names are being smeared in the paper and all this other stuff. I had a lot of bias for all that. I don't have that bias anymore because I actually got to live through it personally, not through a friend, not through a family member. I got to personally live through that stuff. And once people make accusations on you, it's very difficult to get yourself out of them. And the fun thing about that is that like we were in a very, and you can say it for anyone, we were comfortable with our lives. We were in a very comfortable position in life, and we still ended up losing everything. And I have no idea what the other person, I don't know. Someone coined it and said, no one's ever going to know except for God and the two in the room. And that's what I just had to keep in my head. So I don't know. All I know are the details about me. And the details about me stem from one person and a snowball effect. And working to basically cut deals, because when you have paperwork out there, go ahead, you're not going to offend me. When you have details out there that puts you at the equivalent of almost bye-bying your spouse, and so the military almost kicks you out, and then you somehow, your paperwork gets lost for doing the bad things and being too exploding, for some reason you think you can get away with anything. And even though you are a self-proclaimed atheist, the first thing that you do when something's going on is you call your mommy, who starts a prayer chain that sometimes works. Oh, no, not sometimes. It somehow works in your favor. And then somehow you end up with a little kitten and you have no idea what to do with them because, you know, the person that you're with wants one and she can't have one. And then, you know, you mess it up so bad that she leaves. And then you basically decided to remove all the maternal influence, except for maybe, hopefully, that lady down the road that has a friend with the other one, with the other little child. And, you know, she says, hey, mommy, you know I was sad and everything else, and you kept telling me to put down roots, and now I have roots, and now, you know, now I don't want to move again because my life has been uprooted. And the mommy cat says, okay, I'm going to do what's in my daughter cat's best interest and stuff. And for some reason, somebody is parked at my house. But nobody's ever parked in front of this house. And now you guys are getting nervous. And I'm getting nervous. But I have you guys as accountability. Just in case. But anyways, I'm basically putting some accusations out there that have standing because nobody realizes it or not. I don't know who realizes it or not. And this was not supposed to be this kind of a video, but now I'm kind of like, should be this kind of a video. And I'm going to make sure I have my little courts set up. But I'm going to put an accusation out there that I think that all the stuff for me was done maliciously and grumpily. I think it was started with one person, and I think another person thought that they were finally going to have a situation where they could be prejudiced over certain people and right wrongs. And I think that was wrong. And if I have the opportunity, which I do have, like, if you guys don't know, certain government entities have been smart enough to, like, say, hey, we're going to timestamp information whenever somebody writes a report because we're always getting accused of, like, being bad. And then, like, if they go back and then they, like, fluff it up and make it sound really worse, it's going to be stamped with a date. Just maybe I'm one of those grumpy people that, like, had to have all the details because I wanted to know everything that was said because, like, that's the kind of person that I am. And it was, you know, information that was trying to be used against me in a court of law. So I have all those records and we could purview them if my life wasn't so cuckoo crazy. And I also have everything from the initial, like, calls and everything of that person. And the only reason that person was involved is because I called them because we had something in common and I felt like it was the right thing to do, and it blew up in my face. Because bad guys will always be bad guys. And even if you take a boy out of the South and he's been raised in a really bad way with all the isms in place, and, like, he uses the isms against his young bride, and then he, like, does domestic stuff in a bad way, and he, like, keeps getting in trouble for it, and then, like, other Marines see it, and it drives them nuts because they really like the young bride because, like, she's like their sister in a weird way, but then not in a weird way, and then, like, it's awkward, but then they get past it and everything's cool. And, like, they move places and the Marines are always looking out for her, and, like, they become her brothers in a weird way. And this dude just keeps doing bad stuff because he just wants to box her up and be mean, and, like, this video is way too long. And then she finally, like, she snaps. She's like, I can't do it anymore. Like, you almost hurt the kitten. Like, I can't do it. And you almost hurt a lot of other kittens. And you traumatized them. So now your bad stuff is not just impacting me, which I can handle. It's impacting other children. And more specifically, it's impacting the only kitten I have. So I have to leave. And, like, you know, then a Marine and his wife even come with him, with the kitten and the girl. And, like, it becomes this whole adventure and, like, all this stuff. But so that guy, even though he goes all over the place and he wah, because he's a pogue and he's like acting like he had a grunt job and he didn't, and it was ridiculous, and like she even tries to like somewhat be nice to him, and like her life was so bad that she was just like, yeah, maybe he's like the lesser of the two evils, but he's really not. And then maybe, just maybe, he hides his isms so well that he goes from like saying N-bombs and F-bombs, but like meant towards people, like the bad ones, and like she was the one that was always yelling at him about that stuff. So like all the isms that he like had and was all about, like maybe he moved to the place because of the girl that couldn't have kittens of her own. Maybe he moves to the place where that's so prevalent that he's like this super, super, super bad, closeted ism person that's acting like he's okay. But then like the first thing he says whenever his kitten decides that maybe she wants to metamorphosize from like a caterpillar to a butterfly, like a turquoise butterfly, the first thing that comes out of his mouth is about, you know, maybe she wants to like be something else and like transform. The first little bigoted, nasty thing he has to say is asking if she's going to want an additional appendage. Maybe that kind of guy really needs to evaluate his life, because this kind of woman has been reevaluating and making sure that from day one, she tried to make sure that none of those isms were present in her life. Just saying. And yes, I did get someone kicked out of the military for being a racist. And maybe it was something I bragged about to a lot of different people. And like, if I get called out on it by the guy because I don't feel bad, but I feel dishonest because I've never admitted it. Maybe if that comes out as like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, there's so much worse things to say than like, hey, he was literally trying to train his dog to do bad stuff to people that he shouldn't, because he grew up in a very not great environment and he was biased, and maybe there was a biracial couple that had a baby across the street, and the first time that I heard about that, I immediately thought about what would happen to her awesome husband, who was colorful and a stellar Marine, and she was awesome and amazing, and they had a baby, and like they were great people, and then right across the street where her child would have been playing in her yard, and like things could have happened. And so maybe that was my pushing point of, oh, I had no idea that your CO was colorful. But when you have MPs coming over and like you're joking about it, like that's not cool. So yeah, pull out all the stops on that stuff, because I've literally been the ultimate bad girl that's been nice to someone to their face because I had to, because it was going to be beneficial to other people, because no one deserves to train a dog to attack people that are colorful. They just don't. I don't care. Be mad at me. All right, I gotta go inside. Now you guys cost me like 2 minutes. There's so much more to this story, and like I know you guys are here for trucks and stuff and houses, and we'll get to that, but I gotta get my life sorted out first, and then you guys can kind of poke me, and I'm just gonna be transparent. I've talked to all the people except for the one that I'm talking about. Have a great day. Bye.